Senator Joe Manchin has created a roadblock for Democratic legislation in Congress, and 3 professors from the University of Florida will be allowed to testify in a voting rights case.
The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments about a Texas abortion law, and Adam Kinzinger will not seek re-election. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome back to Channel 14 News. I'm Brock Owens.
And I'm Riley Holsinger. Fall has officially rolled its way into Waynesburg this month as SAB teamed up with WCYJ-FM to put on Harvest Fest and the annual Pumpkin Bowling event. WCTV's Rebekah Vaughan has the story.
Pumpkins, live music, and a little friendly competition. All was available to students during the yearly Harvest Fest event put on by the Student Activity Board. University clubs and activities gathered in Johnson's Commons on Thursday, October 28th to partake in the event. Some clubs had games and activities for students to participate in, giving them opportunities to win prizes such as stickers and candy. While this was not the first year that Harvest Fest happened, this was the first time that the pumpkin drop competition was held. Students gathered around the base of Hannah Hall as pumpkins donning protective materials were dropped from the top floor of Hannah. It was a competition between students to see whoever's pumpkin survived the fall with no damage. Then came the main event, pumpkin bowling, put on by the campus radio station WCYJ.
This was my first year, since this is my first year as a GM. I bought the pumpkins. A few of us got together and painted them last night. I'm really excited to see I was really excited to see how it went when it was all put together. It was really fun, and the pumpkins looked great, and I just can't wait for next year.
During the event, students went head-to-head with faculty members to see who would come out on top. Even President Lee, who is notorious for winning pumpkin bowling, got in on the action. And although he did not come out on top, President Lee said that he had a wonderful time because of the students.
I always say this, but I love the students, and I love the way they respond in true Waynesburg spirit and form and creativity. This was the first year we did the pumpkin drop, and that was so much fun to watch. And even though I got defeated in the pumpkin bowling contest this year, I still had a remarkably wonderful time, and I look forward to it each year. I just sort of got here, picked up the pumpkin and gave it a toss, and it didn't work the first time. So I may have to practice next year. I think my pumpkin skills have eroded the last year or so, so I've got to work on that practice.
But in the end, Michael Conley was the bowler that came out victorious. Conley thanked his childhood for helping him win.
How much did I prepare? Honestly, my good part of my 20s and my 12 years of my life. 12 years old, bowled a lot. So I prepared a lot for this, honestly.
Connolly also said that he is grateful that these kinds of events are hosted.
As a student, I feel like it's a really good opportunity for students to come together and just kind of make relations, keep connections, and kind of foster the connections that they already have. And what better way to bowl against the president of the school than, doing that ourselves?
For Channel 14, I'm Rebekah Vaughan.
Students gathered at the Benham Dining Hall last Tuesday evening for a chance to win big prizes at SAB's Halloween-themed bingo night. Lachlan Loudon was there to see what characters made an appearance.
Go ahead, Bailey. Regular bingo, first number N37.
It's bingo night here in the Benham Dining Hall. However, tonight wasn't just any ordinary bingo night, as we had some special characters joining the competition to try to win some of those SAB bingo prizes.
I'm Captain Jack Sparrow, mate. Oh, it was a great time. Didn't win any coin, but I got some socks and a brand new blanket.
The prizes this year were just like any other year, except now we had Bluetooth speakers for sale, along with Waynesburg swag, coffee, and other Halloween goodies.
I messed up a few times, but I won a free pair of socks, so that was nice. Probably not going to wear them ever, but What happened? I called bingo out like 5 times when I wasn't supposed to, and everybody clowned me.
While bingo night is intended to bring students together, some had different viewpoints as to what the true meaning of Halloween bingo is.
The people with me. It's very fun. I loved playing bingo with Jack Sparrow. I never thought I'd do that.
Some were in it for other reasons.
Because of the prizes, mate. What more is there to say?
Lachlan Loudon, WCTV.
Waynesburg University girls took to the football field last Saturday to raise awareness for breast cancer during the last few days of October. Brock Owens was at the stadium with the story.
Usually on Saturday afternoons, the men's football team comes out on the turf for John F. Wiley Stadium, and they're playing. But today, the ladies came out to play a powder puff game to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. To represent breast cancer, the teams wore tie-dye pink and solid pink.
It was exciting. It was a fun experience. Getting to be on a team with some good friends of mine, being a senior, coaching the seniors and sophomores. It was really cool, and getting to coach against Avery White, who I've known for a long time, as well as some good friends of mine on the other team. It was a good bonding experience.
But it wasn't all just fun and games out there.
It was really intense. A lot of people are really competitive on the field, but it was really fun because we got to work together as a team and just go against some people who were competitive.
And it couldn't have been any more competitive out there with the teams tying 12-12 after regulation and overtime.
It was good. It was a fun experience. I'm actually really excited that I got to do this, and I hope I can continue to do this within the next 4 years. I wish we could have played a little longer just to get an actual true winner, but I'm still very proud of my team and the other team as well.
I think it couldn't have ended better. Both teams just played their hardest, and we were really evenly matched, and so the final score reflected that.
And after the game, the pink team's coach, Avery White, had one question.
Does my hair look okay?
Reporting for WCTV, I'm Brock Owens.
We turn now to Pennsylvania's municipal election happening today. Micah Leith is outside of the Greene County Courthouse with the latest.
It's a cool day here in Waynesburg, where there are 3 precincts that are open for voting across the borough until 8 o'clock tonight. I spoke with a county official last week, and they expect a voter turnout of about 35 to 40%. However, absentee and mail-in ballots will not begin to be counted until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so we won't have a clear picture of election results until later in the week. WCTV will have an election update on the Waynesburg effect later this week. But until then, back to Riley and Brock in the studio.
Thank you, Micah. That's all we have for campus and region news. When we come back, we'll have news from around the nation.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is throwing up hurdles at President Biden's economic agenda, saying he won't support a reconciliation bill until there is greater clarity about the impact it will have on the national debt and the economy. Reed Binion has the latest.
Enough is enough. It's time our elected leaders in Washington, all of us, stop playing games with the needs of the American people and holding a critical infrastructure bill hostage.
Senator Joe Manchin, not mincing words. The moderate Democratic senator from West Virginia is a key figure in passing President Biden's infrastructure agenda through Congress. And now, Manchin says he won't throw his support behind the $1.75 trillion reconciliation bill that's been in negotiations for months.
I will not support a reconciliation package that expands social programs and irresponsibly adds to our $29 trillion in national debt that no one seems to really care about or even talk about. Nor will I support a package that risks hurting American families suffering from historic inflation.
Manchin's roadblock, a warning sign for Democratic leaders trying to pass a pair of legislative packages key to President Biden's agenda as soon as this week.
We're tired of, just being continuing to wait for 1 or 2 people. We trust the president that he will get 51 votes for this, and we will pass both bills through the House as soon as we have these final negotiations wrapped up.
In a statement, the White House says it remains confident President Biden's spending plan will gain the support of Senator Manchin and that the plan the House is finalizing meets Manchin's tests. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
The Supreme Court was hearing oral arguments on Monday on a Texas law that bars most abortions after 6 weeks. Amidst a nationwide firestorm, the court agreed to fast-track 2 appeals, signaling that the justices understand the case to be urgent. Camila Bernal explained some of the questions asked by a sharply divided Supreme Court.
Case 21-463, Whole Women's Health versus Jackson.
Arguments before the Supreme Court reigniting a debate concerning the most restrictive abortion law in the country. Abortion bans have got to go! The 9 justices considering a Texas law that bars abortion after the detection of an embryonic heartbeat at around 6 weeks, often before a woman knows she's pregnant.
Life is protected when the heartbeat is first detected.
But the justices not discussing whether the Texas law violates Roe v. Wade. Instead, the court focusing on the unusual way in which the Texas legislature crafted the law and reviewing whether the Justice Department can challenge the law in court.
I'm wondering if, in a defensive posture in state court, the constitutional defense can be fully aired.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a key vote, questioning the structure of the Texas law, and Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan focusing on how the ban creates a model to attack other rights.
So this is not limited to abortion. That's the point that's been raised. It's limited to any law that a state thinks it's dissatisfied with.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh also signaling there is no danger of the ban's enforcement mechanism being pointed at other constitutionally protected rights, because those rights are more certain than the right to an abortion. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
The court is hearing another abortion case next month, a challenge to Mississippi's 15th week ban, where the court's precedent in Roe v. Wade will explicitly be in play.
University of Florida now says 3 professors are free to testify in voting rights case against the state if they aren't paid. The case challenges parts of Florida Senate Bill 90. An attorney for the plaintiff says it is unjustifiably limits the ability of eligibility Floridans have to vote and register to vote. The university previously told the professors they couldn't testify as paid expert witnesses, according to a court document. The school said the professors' paid testimony might pose a conflict of interest to the executive branch of the state of Florida. That's because the university, as a public institution, is part of the state. However, the school amended its statement to say the professors could testify if they do a pro bono on their own time without using school resources. An outspoken GOP Trump critic says he will not seek re-election for his U.S. House seat. Illinois Republican Adam Kinzinger made the announcement in his video Friday morning, saying, quote, "I also remember during that campaign saying that if I ever thought it was time to move on from Congress, I would. And that time is now," end quote. Kinzinger is one of 2 Republican members of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol Hill riot. Not sleeping enough might make you irritable, tired, and anxious, but a new study finds it can also affect how you walk. Researchers studied the walking and sleeping patterns of college students at the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil. After some of the students pulled an all-nighter, they were asked to walk a beat on a treadmill. The sleep-deprived students had difficulty keeping rhythm and sometimes missed beats. Researchers say walking, while once believed to be a fully automated process, is actually influenced by the brain, and a lack of sleep can impact your ability to walk purposefully, avoid obstacles, and keep balance. The study was published in Scientific Reports.
In another sign of progress at the G20 summit in Rome, the Biden administration has reached a deal to ease Trump-era sanctions on aluminum and steel. In exchange, the European Union will drop its retaliatory tariffs against U.S. brands like Harley-Davidson and U.S. products like Kentucky Bourbon. The agreement is a sign of de-escalating tensions between America and its European allies. The Biden administration will be repealing the 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum levied back in 2018 under former President Trump. U.S. manufacturers who rely on steel and aluminum had complained the tariffs hurt their business and caused an increase in consumer prices. A U.S. Capitol Police officer charged in the January 6th insurrection has resigned from the force. Michael A. Riley pleaded not guilty earlier this month to 2 counts of obstruction of justice and trying to help a rioter at the insurrection. Prosecutors say Riley told the person online to take incriminating photos and videos of the attack off of social media. Authorities say the accused rioter informed the FBI of their communications. Riley's lawyers confirmed his resignation on Friday. They also have said that it is not a felony for one person to suggest another that they should take down ill-advised conceived Facebook posts. A grim discovery in South Texas, 75 migrants found crammed inside a refrigerated tractor trailer. Images released by Border Patrol showed the migrants sitting on top of pallets of flour. The group was found Wednesday during an immigration inspection checkpoint in Edinburgh. The temperature was set at 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Agents say the migrants were shivering, attempting to stay warm. Most of them are from Central America, while others were said to be Mexican nationals. The driver was placed under arrest and the migrants were taken into custody. That's all we have for national news. When we come back, we'll have Gwyn Napier with business and entertainment. But first, Rebekah Vaughan is outside with a brief weather update. Rebekah?
It's pretty chilly out here on the campus of Waynesburg University, and later on in the week we've actually got temperatures that'll be dropping below freezing. Stick around for my full 7-day weather forecast coming up later in the show.
Hello, I'm Gwyn Napier here with your business and entertainment update. New Zealand has spoken and selected its 2021 Bird of the Year, but the winner of the annual competition this time isn't a bird at all. Instead, voters selected the country's only land mammal, the Peka Peka Tūroa, also known as the long-tailed bat. This is the first time that the bat, or indeed any non-bird, has been part of the competition, which is organized by New Zealand's Forest and Bird Conservation Charity. The group says the award-winning bat was included in the competition to raise awareness and support for the species, according to the statement. COVID concerns have temporarily shuttered a major amusement park in China. Shanghai Disneyland announced Sunday the park will be closed for at least the next few days after reports of someone with a confirmed case of COVID-19 visited. The video Sunday showed medical workers and police officers inside the park. Officials say guests were required to take a COVID test before they left. American Airlines canceled another 250 flights Monday as it deals with staffing shortages and weather issues that disrupted schedules for days. Since Friday, more than 2,000 flights have been canceled. So what are your rights if your flight has been canceled or delayed? In today's Consumer Watch, one travel expert breaks down what you may be entitled to if your flight gets interrupted.
Another airline canceling flights. This time, it was American Airlines canceling more than 2,000 flights over the past 4 days, triggering long lines and angering passengers.
Pre-pandemic, this was pretty unheard of. But it feels like the new normal until we kind of get to a steady level of supply and demand.
American blaming weather and staffing shortages. So, what should you do if your flight is canceled or delayed? Every airline has different policies, but travel expert Willis Orlando says you may be eligible for a refund.
Know your rights. Know that if the airline significantly delays or cancels your flight, you are entitled to a cash refund. So if they offer you a voucher, for example, you don't need to take that.
This also applies if you're already in transit and the second leg of your trip is canceled. Check your flight status frequently. And experts say be proactive and find a flight your airline can rebook for you.
If you come to the table with good information, with an alternative for them, a solution prepared for them, they very often will love to just take the easy solution and move you forward.
Airlines have less personnel than they did going into the pandemic. Transportation Department data show airlines as an entire industry are about 7,000 people smaller than they were in 2019.
Most major airlines laid off or furloughed thousands of employees early in the pandemic and have been hiring back, but it's been a slow and steady process.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Today's entertainment report includes some surprising movie news and a special event in Tinseltown. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Talk about a time warp. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is back on the box office chart 46 years after its release. According to The Wrap, Disney, which now owns the rights to the film, says Halloween weekend screenings brought in $250,000 in ticket sales. Midnight screenings of the cult classic have been around for decades. This extends the longest theatrical run in movie history.
People in some of the darkest moments of their life, he is like a bright, shining light that comes forward and gives you hope.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and others paid tribute recently to Danny Trejo, as the actor, entrepreneur, and LA icon was immortalized with a wax likeness at Madame Tussauds Hollywood. It was a unique ceremony even for Tinseltown. After all, how many events feature the guest of honor's own legendary donuts served quite like this? Heading for a sugar fix in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That's all we have for business and entertainment. Coming up next, we'll have Caleb Yauger with your Waynesburg Sports Report.
Hello, I'm Caleb Yauger, and this is your Waynesburg Sports Update. We're slowly transitioning into the winter sports season, and the fall sports are almost all wrapped up. Women's soccer made it to the PAC tournament after a huge win last Tuesday night over the Geneva Golden Tornadoes. They found themselves down 1-0 early, but the Jackets responded extremely well. Haley Johnson, Kate James, Jacinda Dever, and Megan Brisky put in goals to seal a playoff spot in their 7-1 victory. This past Saturday afternoon, though, the first round playoff game went into double overtime against W&J. Unfortunately, it was the Presidents that came out on top with a 1-0 golden goal. The season for the women's soccer team is over with an 8-8-1 overall record. The men's soccer team finished its season last Wednesday night when the Yellow Jackets ended in a 2-2 double overtime draw with the Geneva Golden Tornadoes. Samuel Hawkins and Tyler Moorbacher helped propel Waynesburg to a 2-0 lead, but Geneva climbed back to tie it in the second half, and the score would not change after that. 3-12-1 was the season record for the men's team. The Waynesburg volleyball team hosted the best team in the conference on Thursday night at the Rudy Marisa Fieldhouse, and the Westminster Titans definitely showed why they are at the top of the PAC by taking the Yellow Jackets in 3 straight sets. The scores were 25-16, 25-8, and 25-22. Michaela Osborne led Waynesburg with 6 kills. Paige Cowsley racked up 26 assists, and Allison Johnson, in her final game as a Yellow Jacket, got 15 digs to end her collegiate career. Another day, another Waynesburg Women's Cross Country Championship. Congratulations to 6 in a row for the Yellow Jackets, but it was a very, very close call. Waynesburg edged Franciscan University by 1 point. Aubrey Wingert placed 2nd overall, and Gloria Reed wasn't too far behind, finishing in the 5th spot. Head coach Chris Hardy also picked up his 7th PAC Women's Coach of the Year in the last 8 years. Men's cross-country team also put out a good showing for Saturday's showcase. The Yellow Jackets finished 5th in the team standings out of 9 total. Andrew Casper was the individual leader for the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets, who earned 2nd team All-PAC and finished 12th overall. Jack Coakley earned himself the 16th spot, while Nolan Curran finished 20th. Next stop, the NCAA Mid-East Regional Championships for both squads next Saturday in Newville, Pennsylvania. At Reeves Field in Beaver Falls this past Saturday, it went from a tornado warning to a tornado watch to a full-on storm as the Geneva Golden Tornadoes took care of the Waynesburg University football team with ease. The final score was 49-3. Those 3 points came in the second quarter from a Keegan Robbie 33-yard field goal. Geneva had 522 total yards of offense compared to Waynesburg's 147. In his second collegiate start for the Yellow Jackets, Trevor Miller went 6 of 21 for 66 yards through the air and threw 5 picks on the night. Justin Flack rushed for 56 yards. And Waynesburg has a home game this upcoming Saturday against the Bethany Bison at 1 o'clock. You can catch the game on WCYJ-FM or on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Wrestling season is here. The annual Orange and Black Wrestle-Offs were held in the Ruth and Marisa Fieldhouse on Saturday. This was a showcase of newcomers and returners for the Yellow Jackets. Garrett Cook, the Division II transfer from West Liberty, earned his first win as a Yellow Jacket by just squeezing by Luke Levanway 6-4. Seth Evans, the freshman, also earned a win over Kyle Heinerman. This upcoming Saturday, the Jackets travel to King's College to participate in the Ned McGinley Invitational Tournament. This has been your Waynesburg Sports Report right here on Channel 14 News. I'm Caleb Yauger. Stay tuned for your weather report because Rebekah Vaughan's got you covered.
Hello and welcome back to WCTV. I'm Rebekah Vaughan here with your 7-day weather update. Now that Halloween has officially come and gone, the weather is turning colder to really get us into the holiday spirit. Today's high was only at 46 and the low tonight will reach all the way down to 34 degrees. Tomorrow the sun will be out, but temps will still be pretty chilly. The high will only reach to 46 again and the low will be 28. These temperatures will seemingly create a trend for the next few days. Thursday, we'll see a partly cloudy sky again with the high of 46 and a low of 27. After these clouds roll out on Thursday, we'll be looking at sunny skies for the rest of the week. Friday, we will have a high of 48 and a low of 27, which is the coldest we'll reach this week. Saturday, we're seeing a little increase in temps with a high of 54 and a low of 25. Very similar temps for Sunday with a high of 54 and a low of 27. Going into your work week on Monday, we'll see the clouds roll in again for another partly cloudy day and a high of 54 and a low of 27. Again, I'm Rebekah Vaughan, and this has been your 7-day weather forecast.
Weather forecast right here on WCTV. Brock, we're in a pretty stressful point of the semester right now. How are you hanging up?
I'm going to say all right, even though, I'm sure that I could say the other way as well. Show yesterday, show today, show tomorrow. Lots of schoolwork as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Just got to be diligent here with our coursework. Get enough sleep, eat some good food as well. Got to make sure we're doing everything necessary that we can do to succeed out here. But that's all the time that we have today right here on Channel 14 News. Tune in to watch us every single week right here on WCTV.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.